Hi, and welcome to a tour of my website, rentoa.com. So I created this website out of my own frustration of trying to find a place close to my university classes that fit the criteria that I needed. So I was moving into a place with four other guys, and we needed one place with a parking spot because one of the guys had a car. Now it was impossible to find a place like that without going through every single ad and picking up the phone to call them to see whether or not they had a parking space and how far they were from the university. So I'm just going to give you a little tour of here. So this is the search bar on the main page. So you can enter any address, or you can type in intersection, a city, a postal code, or a point of interest, or a university. So let's try intersection first. So I'll type in Princess and Division. So if you see on the map there, it'll pull up Princess and Division. So this is integrated with Google Maps so that it can pull up your address. So the next thing I'll try out is I'll try out a point of interest. So let's try out CN Tower. So if I type in the CN Tower, you'll see the address for the CN Tower right there, and you can see it in this area on the map. Now if I wanted to find a university, I can type in Queen's University, and it'll pull up the central location. So under Google's directory, Queen's University is listed under 99 University Avenue. But just because it's close to 99 University Avenue doesn't mean that property is going to be close to me. So let me search by the address of one of my classes. So I'll type in 55 George Street. So if you see, there's lots of different 55 George Streets. So I'll continue typing in Kingston, Ontario to get the right one. See there? So on the map, it's Kingston, Ontario. I'll click it and I'll click search. So now you'll see all the properties listed under the search page. So I created 7 mock listings just to show as an example before I launched the site. So if you see down here, you'll see the distance of each property and how far they are from 55 George Street. So the first one here is 0.45 kilometers away. The price is $2,000 per month. So if I go down, you'll see their increase in their distance. So we'll list it from closest to furthest, or you can switch it to list by a different category. So we'll look over here. First we have the price range. So on the price range, I can set the filter to match my price. Over here, you'll see the tiny little map, and all these numbers correspond to the numbers on listing. So you see number 1 over here, and you'll have number 1 over here as well. Number 2 is here, and that corresponds with this one. If I double click on the map, it'll bring me closer in. So I can zoom closer in. If you see the pin over here, this is 55 George Street. All these other ones have to do with the properties. So I'll scroll around, I can go closer, and you can also see different areas around. So if I click on this, it'll pull up Victoria Park for me. And I can close it, and if I wanted to zoom out, I would double right click. So you double right click, and you can zoom out on the map. So let's scroll down and see some of the other filters. So over here, you can search by keyword, and it'll search for any words it can find inside the title. The next filter here I have is room type. So if I click here, it'll expand, and I can search by entire place, private room, shared room, or short term. If I were to click on property types, I can search for apartment, apartment to share, bachelor apartment, and so on. Over here, you have the amenities tab. So if I click on this, I can see all the amenities I can search by. So if I needed a place with a parking spot, I would click this, and it'll display only the places that have parking on site. If I wanted a place that allowed me to have pets, I would click here, pets allowed. Now if I wanted a place that had a parking spot and allowed me to have pets, I would click on both of them, and it would only display the places that allowed pets and had a parking spot. So let me just close this now, and we'll see some of the other ones. So over here, you can see size, and it'll show me the minimum amount of bedrooms and bathrooms. So if I wanted a place that had at least 3 bedrooms, I would click here, and it'd only show me the place that had 3 bedrooms. Over here, if I went to lease types, you'll see all the different lease types you can search by. So if I were to click on 9 to 12 months, it'd show me only the places that offered a lease for at least 9 months. If I were to click on 6 to 9 months, it'd show me places that have lease terms of at least 6 months. So I'll close this. And let's go into one of the properties. So let's click on this one. So the address on this is 401 Princess Street. If I let it load here, you're going to see the picture come up, and it's going to go through a slideshow of all the photos on it on the main property page. So if I wait a bit, you see the picture starts changing. If I want to zoom in, I can go full screen. And if I wanted to make it fit to screen, I'd go to that button there, which will let me see all the photos the way they were actually taken. And I clicked out, so I got out. So if you want to skip into another photo, I would just go into the other photo I wanted to skip to. And let me just make it fit to screen there. There you go. And let me zoom out again. Okay, and I just click anywhere and it'll take me back to the main page. So over here, you have your favorite button. If I click on this, I'll like it, and it'll let me look at it again later when I go into my Rentoa and I go into my liked properties. You have to be logged in to be able to favorite something. So let me close that there. Now over here is the Facebook share button. So if I listed a property, or if I'm moving in with some housemates and I want to show them some of the properties, I can click on Facebook share and it'll load up the listing right here. So this is how it would look like once you share it on Facebook. So I close this. You can also share it on about 294 different platforms. So I can email it, I can share on Twitter, share on Pinterest, and there's also some cool features if you scroll around here. So if I were to type in Google, I would see that I can also use Google Translate to translate the page to any language I want. So let me close that there. Now if you scroll down, you'll see again how far it is from what I searched. If I go down, I can read the description over here and see all the amenities. So these are all the amenities. If I want to only see the amenities that it does have, I'd click hide and I'd only see those. And all the information we looked at previously is right here. Now if I go to nearby properties, I'll see all the results I saw in the search previously. So that's all the results we saw before. Now if I go under video, if the lister has listed a video from YouTube or Vimeo, they can add it on here and you'll be able to view it. Now let's go on to map. So if you click on the map, it'll take you to an external link of Google Maps. I did this to allow all the functions that Google Maps offers. So over here, you'll see the property. And if you let it load for a bit, you'll see you'll be able to search by directions. So if we let it load for a second there, you can see directions. And if I click on there, I can search for directions to or from that property from wherever. So I would type in an address here and I'd get the directions. This is especially good if you're on a phone where it would pop up the Google app for Google Maps, where you can click on current location. And let's say you're going around town looking at different places. You can click the current location and then see your address, get directions from where you are to that property, wherever you are. So let's go back onto Rentoa. Okay. Another feature here, you can click on amenities around. Now this is a pretty cool feature here because it'll show you all the closest restaurants, coffee shops, bars, grocery stores around that property. So if I look over here, it'll show me the closest restaurant is Bubba's Poutine. So it's 0.02 kilometers from 401 Princess Street. Okay. If I were to click on Street View now, I can see a street view of the property. So this is where the property is, and I can look up. This is the building right here at 401 Princess Street. So let me go back onto maps now, and let me show you some other features. So if I were to click on restaurants, I'd see all the restaurants close by to that property. So you can see them all here. And if I go back here, I can click on more places to see even more places. So over here, I can click on search nearby if nothing fits my criteria. And previously I'd searched for yoga, so that's what it shows. So you can search for anything. So let's click yoga to see all the closest yoga studios. So over here, the closest one is Samatva. So if I click on that, it'll show me where it is. Now, if I click on Street View, I can see the street view of where Samatva is. So there it is. And if you look, it's not too far from that property. So there's the property right there. Now, if we go back, you can also check your commute time to wherever you want to go. So if I go to commute time tab here, I can do it, or I can do it down in the bottom over here. So let's try out the commute tab. So I'll click the tab here, and it's going to load up the commute time. So I previously searched for Queen's University. Now it stays on record until you change it to something else. So to get to Queens from this property, it would take 3 minutes to drive or 5 minutes in rush hour, 12 minutes to take a bus, 12 minutes to walk, or 4 minutes to bike there. So if I click on the bus, you can see all the transit routes. I can click on walk, and I can see the hills that I'll encounter, and you'll see the same thing when you do a 4-minute walk. So if I wanted, I can switch this to a different address. So let's put 55 Earl Street, Kingston, Ontario, and I can check my commute time from that property to 55 Earl Street. So to get to 55 Earl Street, it'll take me a 3-minute drive, or a 12-minute bus, 12-minute walk, or a 3-minute bike. Okay. So anytime when you want to contact the property lister, you would click reply by email. Sometimes as well, property listers will list their phone number in the description, so you can call them as well. So over here, you would fill out the form here, and you'd press send. So after you send, the email will go to 2 places. It'll go into their Rentoa account and their mailbox here, or it'll also send another email into their actual email. And once they send it to the actual email, they can reply straight to your email. So that's a tour of my website. If you liked it, please, or if you have any comments, you can contact me on my Facebook page or on Twitter. So if you scroll down here, you'll see my Facebook page here. If you click on that, you can follow me on Facebook, or you can follow me on Twitter. Thank you very much. I'd like to hear from you guys.